Okay, here we go. I have done this video once before, but I wasn't happy with the first one. I don't think I went into as much detail as I could have gone into. So, this one is going to be about the things we need to be able to heal. What I mean by that is that these things have to stay consistent in order for us to heal our mind, our body, and our spirit while we are reprogramming our brains, more or less. Okay? Now, when you're having to reprogram your brain, it takes a lot of energy, and it's not only just your brain, your body is holding all of that trauma. Okay? So it doesn't matter how big or little the trauma is. It doesn't matter what the trauma is. Your body is holding it. So you have to take into consideration how a lot of these things are super important to have the cohesion between the mind and the heart cohesion, so the body and the mind, to be able to come together and let it go and to release it. Okay? This is also part of the whole process of healing in the aspect of the root chakra. So these are things that you need to have stay consistent. I know I've already said that, but again, consistency comes up. So now, first and foremost, your sleep. You need lots and lots of sleep. Lots and lots of sleep. So if you're not getting enough sleep, if you are overworking yourself, realize that if you are really serious about healing and changing, you have to find ways to be able to get more sleep. You have to, get a better paying job. You have to have better hours. Advocate for yourself to have better hours. Say no to those people that want to go out and party and you just want to sleep. Or people that are asking you to do things and you don't want to do those things. So instead you would much rather sleep. It's about learning to choose yourself and your life and your healing over anybody else. Sleep is the most important in rebuilding the neural structure of your brain. Why do you think we promote it so much in the younger kids, in children? This is something that has been I've read children's books on it, kids' books about how much sleep they need. Even whenever my kids were seeing a therapist, we were actually told how much teenagers need sleep and how it's so much more than what even I grew up with. So why would we ask for kids and babies and all of them to be able to get as much sleep as possible if it wasn't for the fact that their brains are developing? Their brains are growing. They are becoming. Think about that. If you are having to break apart your brain and dissect and pull out little bits and pieces of things that are no longer needed and then having to rebuild it back up, would you not have to get more sleep? Would you not need sleep because your brain is growing and developing, much like when you were a kid? It's the exact same concept. So, just something. Thank you for the confirmation, Spirit. I love you. But it's the exact same concept. So instead of coming up with reasons why you can't sleep, start finding ways that you actually can. Taking naps. Who said that we can't take naps? I mean, there are people at work that will go take a 45-minute nap or a 30-minute nap during work. Whenever I was working at Cabela's, 30-minute nap, 15-minute naps. There are people that are at my job now that will take a 45-minute lunch nap because they are just exhausted. You too need to find those ways. It's okay. It's okay to actually, I know for some people it is hard to sleep. I know some people struggle with sleep. I get it. There's trauma there in sleeping and being vulnerable. I get it. But you're going to have to find ways to do it because it is so detrimental to your health. Work. Okay. With work, you need to have a consistent job that you can maintain. One that you know that you can actually get into work too. For me personally, I had to work my way up to being able to get to where I am now. Because of all the work that I was doing, when I started out, whenever I had the mental breakdown in the condo that I was living in, when I was overwhelmed with all of this, when I was overwhelmed with all of the memories that came flooding in due to the trauma because of where I was living, when I was bombarded with every single one of those memories, I had that mental breakdown and I had to build myself back up. So when it came to work, I got a part-time job that was close by that I could walk to, because that way I had no excuse. I didn't even have a car, and the bus schedules were so erratic. They were never on time, and I needed to be on time. So I got a job at a place where I could walk. Same with right now, where I live. Where I live is close enough to my old job and my new job that if I had to, if it came down to it, I have a car now, but if it came down to it, if something happened to that car, I had a way to get to work, that I could make it to work, that I could walk all the way to work if I needed to. That came into play because I was still terrified of having a massive mental breakdown and not being able to pull myself back out of it. So therefore, I made sure that my job was where I could get to. But how I worked my way up was the fact that I started out at a part-time job, and then I worked my way up from a part-time job to a full-time job that required far less work, far less from me physically and mentally. Like, it was a very easy job, but it was still like, it was not difficult. It was, full-time, but paid a lot less, but required less. So it kind of gave me a break a little bit. Still was working through issues, still working through a lot of issues, but it was not too difficult. During that time, I was still walking to and from work. My job was way further out, but I could take tracks and walk, and then walk to tracks, take the bus home. I could still do that. I still had public transportation. I was still walking a lot. It was a lot farther away, but I had ways to get there. And I planned for it too. That was the very hard thing. I left super early so that I could go work out at my job before I actually had to go in and, go to work. So I got there extra early, no matter what. And I stayed extra late till like the closing. And then I worked my way up from that to being able to get a car and doing Uber. And so I was doing Uber full time and then quit that job. And then I turned around and I was doing Uber full time with just on my own. And then after doing Uber, then I got a full-time job doing Cabela's. So like my work was slowly increasing because I had to be able to be good with my consistency. I had to be good with my being able to be on time, being able to, you know, work really hard and, you know, not just leave. Like everything had to build up, everything, while I was still mentally working through a lot of the trauma and things and all these other things that were coming at me left and right. So that brings in the exercise. So what I mean by exercise was the fact that I personally think that jobs like working at Cabela's was a great exercise, but also work experience because of the fact that I was able to work through a lot of things because like there was a lot of anger and rage, and having to lift heavy boxes and having to like throw boxes and heavy lifting is a great means of getting out a lot of that residual, like that anger and all of that that's in your body that sits in your lower chakras in your pelvis area, because you're having to squat a lot, you're having to like do a lot of work, and it helps with that. And the sitting for Uber was not one of the best ones for being able to work through a lot of that because of the fact that I was sitting most of the day. So that did not help. That actually pooled a lot of the trauma. It helped collect a lot of it. But most jobs that require you to do a lot of walking or a lot of like work and stuff like that are a great way of being able to do exercise and work, which helps with the healing process and getting all that residual energy out. Okay, so when I bring up exercise, you can like connect these two together if it's possible. But there's things that you need to do with the exercise that also help. Okay, for me, because with Uber, I was not getting much exercise. I would do yoga and I would do stretching early in the morning before I would go out driving. That's where I did a lot of, I was working a lot on my flexibility, the splits and stuff like that, and working out my hip flexors and stuff like that. So that right there, keep in mind, your hip flexors are so detrimental to being able to release trauma. Okay. Walking is so good for you. It's not even funny. It is one of the best ways to release a lot of the negative energy that you're carrying. Just putting on some headphones and going for a walk. While I was also Ubering and working and stuff like that, some of the other exercises was I did a lot of walking. I did a lot of walking for getting places, and then I also did a lot of walking and running whenever I was and there were some trails that were actually like really close by. So I was doing a lot of walking and a lot of running. Running is a great one for, you know, getting out a lot of anger and rage because of the fact that you're just taking it out on the ground and you're giving it up to Mother Nature. You're letting her take it because you're just like, I don't want this anymore. You take it. And she'll take it gladly. She has no problems taking it. Like, she wants to take it from you. She wants to take your pain. She wants to take your anger. She wants to relieve that from you. So give it to her. Okay? With those, now for exercise, I am doing yoga and stretching and stuff like that, because I went way overboard with my work at Cabela's and I hurt myself in my upper shoulder area. I had to step back, which I'll talk about in another video about exercise and when you're working on your root chakra and injuries and stuff like that. I'll talk more about that one, because actually, no, I'll touch on it here because I can talk about it more in that one as well. But you're going to get injuries. You're going to have like moments where you get an injury. It's your body trying to tell you that it doesn't want to proceed. It's going to be one of those, like, it's going to be a manifestation of where you're going to be like, oh, I can't do this workout anymore because I'm hurt. It's you trying to stop yourself from getting to the next step. It's an excuse. And I get that there are injuries. I get this. The thing about it, the thing about it is that there are other ways around that injury. There are other things you can do that will not be that exact same working out, but will help you. Finding alternate routes, not accepting that that is the end all be all of exercise that you have to do to be able to achieve that. I've driven people with disabilities to the gym or from the gym when I was driving for Uber, and it was such, like, it was one of those moments where I'm like, oh, I can't work out because da 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 da. And then I drive someone that has like no leg and they've got like only one leg and a cane, and I'm like, and they're coming home from the gym, and it's like, wow, okay, humble me a little bit more, like a foot insert here, kind of moment. It's one of those things that there will always be an excuse. Excuses are so easy to come by. The hard part is having to come up with how you're going to get past that. This is where we are retraining our brain to accept that this is what's going to happen and this is how it's going to be. You have to retrain yourself into knowing that you are not going to give up, no matter what. Just because something comes up doesn't mean that you're going to stop here and say, okay, I give up, I'm done, I'm not going to do it anymore. You will take this as okay, well, now I need to come up with a different way. Make it a game. It's not about giving up. It's about retraining the thought process that you have for yourself in saying, hey, you know what? I want this. I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to give up on myself. It's finding that self-love, that self-worth in yourself to say, I'm not going to give up on myself. I'm not going to give up on what I want. It's a whole new level of self-worth, and it's a whole new level of retraining that inner child, because of the fact that, giving up on things is easy. Staying consistent and never giving up is hard. And we, many of times, have gone the easy route. But now, if you want it bad enough, you're going to keep trying, and you're not going to let anything get in your way. So exercise is a hard one too, because you have to realize that we subconsciously, we know the memories are there. We know what happened to us. We may not remember everything, but we know. Your body knows. The book, The Body Keeps the Score. Your body remembers. Your body knows. And so the hard part about it is that subconsciously we are aware that when we do these things, it's going to bring up the memories. Whenever we eat right, whenever we exercise, whenever we have a good paying job and don't work as hard, whenever we sleep, it's going to heal, and that healing means that it's going to release the memories to come up, and we are absolutely terrified of those memories, and so we will do everything in our power to keep them down. That's why so many addictions, that's why so many people, choose to continuously do the things that they do, is because they don't want to bring those memories up. They don't want to remember. Subconsciously, they are aware of all of that, and so they will do whatever it takes to keep it down. So it's finally standing up to yourself and saying, we're going to do this no matter what. And it's going to be scary. And it's going to suck. But I'm here with you. I'm here for you. I am not going to stop. I'm going to do this. We can do it together. It's that kind of mentality. Because really and truly what you're doing right now is you're reparenting that inner child. You're working with your higher self and your present self. The Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. That's one of the ways to look at it. There's so many different terms that you can use to fill in the whatever it is that you want to place it as. But it's the same concept, that you are working with yourself to better yourself. Food. Okay. With food, this is one of the hardest ones, because realize it's so easy. I made a video about this already, about the physiological needs, and I talked about the food. So if you're curious, go check out that video. I can't link them yet, but I'll figure it out eventually, one of these days. Okay. But with food, you got to eat the right foods. You got to eat healthy foods. What you eat is more true than anything, because of the fact that what we eat makes up our body. Many times addictions are based off of us trying to stay in a lower state, because we know that the moment that we eat healthy foods, the more we are going to actually heal, our body's going to heal, and we're going to actually start to remember things. And that's a terrifying thing. The problem with that is, guys, we're already in a healing state. We are already, it's already happening. It's already required. We're already being shoved into healing regardless. We are already being forced to heal. Right now, with everything that's happening, it is going to happen. The thing about it is that you can either fight it, or you can find ways to make it through. Find strategies. Talk to the people that have, learn from the other people that have actually made it through this. Look up information. Try to study the ones that have made it through and learn what they have learned. That's how you survive. That's how you make it. That's how you thrive. Is instead of fighting it, start going with it. And so with food especially, I learned this back whenever I was first learning about healing, and I was in the I don't remember the name of it, but it's the one that Tony Robbins has a online community that has all these little courses and stuff like that you can go through. And there was the brain guy. There was the guy, I don't remember his name. I'll have to search it up. But he talks about, he experienced a really bad situation to where he had to relearn how to do anything. And he goes in there and he learned and taught himself how to think differently. And so it was one of the courses, and I was learning about the brain and how it works and everything like that. And he talks about how certain foods are really important for your brain while you're healing. And so it got me looking into, what foods to eat for my mental health. There are specific foods out there that are so great for your health, like blueberries and omega-3s, so like fish. And I get it. With the food industry nowadays, it's so messed up. I mean, let's be real. A lot of the food that we have been given is very tainted and lots of issues with. I get that. That's why you've got to be very selective about the food that you go out and you purchase, because let's be real, buying that junk food crap, they want us addicted to that stuff. They want people to be addicted to unhealthy foods, but they're also poisoning them. So why are you spending your hard-earned money on stuff that they are trying to, poison you with? Why? Don't give them that money. Don't. Quit giving them the money that you have earned and worked hard to get. Keep it for you. Buy foods that are healthy. Farmers markets. I love farmers markets. Even with food stamps here in Utah, you can get Double Up Bucks is I think the name of it, and it's where you can get more money for however much you choose to pull out of your food stamps to go to the farmers market and get all different kinds of foods. There are so many options. Like, you're not going to go buy items like things, but food, real food. Farmers markets are great. Growing your own stuff, great if you can. There are so many people online that show how you can actually have your own garden in an apartment complex. It's crazy. But that's the thing, is how bad do you want it? How bad? So when it comes to food, me looking into the whole food, like the whole what's good for your brain, it's going to be something that I looked into blueberries and spinach and all of this stuff and started implementing that stuff into what I was eating and what I was doing, because I want my brain to jump back from that mental breakdown quicker. Do you see the connection here? Like the mental breakdown, I then, I did talk about it, with the work and exercise. So whenever I was in the condo, I had the mental breakdown. I wanted my brain to jump back quicker. So therefore, whenever I did eat these things, it helped, get me out of it a little bit faster, and it helped regulate it a little bit quicker. So same thing when it comes to all different types of areas in your life. The more healthy foods or healthier foods that you eat, the quicker you are to bouncing back from whatever you're working through, whatever trauma you are working through. So when you implement the food, the exercise, the work, the sleep, those things help you bounce back quicker. It doesn't prolong it, because if you're not getting sleep, if you're not being consistent with your work, if you're not exercising, and if you're not eating right, then when you have one of those triggers that come up, it takes longer to get out of it. There's a method to my madness. Okay. Now, I bring up the outlet and the release because of the fact that realize that your outlet / your release of the trauma, of the trigger, of all of that stuff, you need to have set in place. Okay? You need to be able to have something or someone that is going to be there, that is going to help you work through it, or to, help you stay grounded, whatever it may be. So why I say, there's two ways. There's therapy, a coach, if you're in a treatment center, or if you go to AA, NA, whatever, doesn't matter, not any kind of anonymous group, that helps. There's online forums. You can find like Facebook groups, so many different groups now. Like there's so many. I'm part of a Facebook alcohol or addiction recovery group that is very supportive. You just gotta weed through, and you gotta find the right ones for you if you want that support and everything like that. People that are gonna call you out on your BS. That is very important. You need a therapist that'll do that, or a coach, someone that will guide you through it and help you. I've had a therapist before. I've had multiple different ones. I've been in treatment. I've done AA. I haven't had a coach, but I am a coach. So if you need me, you can reach out to me. I will have my email down below. So you are more than welcome to reach out and ask for my prices and stuff like that, and ask for my help. I'm here. And then if you can't afford these things, like look through, some of these things are going to be free, like AA and the online support communities are going to be free. Therapy, you might be able to afford it through your insurance or through your work, whatever it may be, that kind of stuff. You might have the money for a coach, who knows. But one of the biggest ones is journaling and crying. Journaling has been one of my biggest outlets. I journal a lot. I have so many journals, and I journal a lot. So that's going to be an amazing thing for you to use, is journaling and crying. Crying is a big one, because when you have all that built up pain, you need to let it out. And it's okay to cry. I love crying. I'm selective on who I cry in front of, because of the fact that, there are some people I just won't cry in front of. But I also don't care, because of the fact that I've cried plenty of times at work, and, I'm perfectly fine with it. Like, oh well, what people think. If they think they made me cry, then so be it. I was just crying to release negative energy. That's all. Or tears of joy, one or the other. But why I have all of this with the wants and the needs, this is super important for, as you're working through your root chakra work, and a lot of this has to do with like our root chakra work, needing these things to work through all of it. You have to stay in a constant state of what's a want and what's a need, because numerous times you are going to have moments where things are going to pop up, and when you're working through very dense and intense trauma, things are going to pop up, and you are going to want to spend money, or you're going to want to make yourself feel better. This is where, like, people right now especially are going out and like spending lots of money. Coachella, experiences like Disneyland, you name it. People going out and going to concerts and traveling to other states to go see like activities and stuff like that. Like, all of this stuff that people are going out and spending money on for an experience, I truly get. I was doing that. I had credit card debt because I wanted to, have experiences, to lift the mood up with my kids, going to Shenyang, the concert, taking my kids to Lagoon, you name it. I personally created a lot of credit card debt because of the fact that I was living way outside my means, just so that I could give my kids experiences, you know, because we were going through some pretty crappy stuff at the time. And so I was trying to make things better, which I wasn't making things better. I was actually putting us deeper and deeper and deeper into a hole, which was not doing anything any good. It's one of those things that you have to really pull out the wants and the needs. Now, when I talk about this, wants are things that are like the necessities. So like the needs are the necessities. My bad. Needs are like the house. So house and food and water. And for some people, transportation. Clothes. And I'm not saying lots of clothes. I'm talking about like the basic needs clothes. Like if you need new tennis shoes because you have a bunch of holes in them, maybe a good pair that are not expensive. Those are good. The house, you need to have a roof over your head. You need to have food to be able to, you know, continuously keep living. Water, we all need lots and lots of water, especially whenever you're healing. Transportation, whether it be a bus pass, whether it be gas for your car. If you are struggling with a vehicle and it's starting to like, you're having to pay a lot just to be able to keep that vehicle running, maybe you need to start carpooling with someone. That's an option. Asking people and then giving them some gas money for helping them with the gas money to be able to get to work, whatever it may be. But transportation, maybe you need to invest in like a bike so you can ride to work. I've seen plenty of people bike or scooter to work. Electric scooter, not like foot scooter, which, yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I'd do it if I had to. Whatever it may be. And then clothes, you know, like I said, shoes, cold weather gear, like in the winter time, you know, whether you need like warm weather gear because like you work in a warehouse and it gets really hot, so you need like shorts, whatever it may be. I'm just saying that those are needs. Those are needs. The wants, you really have to cut it down. Like, wants are not a necessity. You don't need them to survive. And this is where you get to play that game of like, where you get to call yourself out, you know, because there's those little voices that are be like, oh, we need that. We so need that. This is where you have to get like creative and be like, do we really need it? I mean, will I be okay without it? Will I survive? Will life go on without it? I would say invest in someone that is going to call you out on your crap, that is not going to feed into you continuously putting yourself in debt. I have one of those. Her name is Emma. My oldest daughter is by far the biggest one on calling me on my crap, because I will call her up if I feel like I'm in a place. I don't do it as much anymore because I've gotten better at it, but earlier on I would be at the store and I'm like, Emma, I'm right here and I'm debating on whether or not if I should actually buy this item. Like, I can justify it, but I don't think I actually need it. What do you think? And she'd be like, put that shit back. Put it back. Put that shit back. You don't need it. We don't need it. We'll be fine. Put it away. And I'd listen. I'd listen. Because realize sometimes we need that little voice of logic to call us out and to snap us into a better thought process. Because sometimes when we're left to our own devices, we'll pay for things that we know damn well we don't even need. I know I have done it many times because I too have struggled with shopping addiction. I have bought things that I didn't need because of the fact that I had an empty hole in my soul that could not be filled. And so I would use retail therapy to try and fill that hole. And it never worked because I kept buying. Also realize too that this is something that is learned behavior. I have a mother who is a shopaholic, who buys things and puts them away in a room and forgets she even purchased them. Christmas roll around and she's like, oh, I have like 3 of these things. I forgot I even got it. It's a learned behavior too. And much like how mine was unlearned, yours can be too. Okay? All of this is not set in stone. It's not. So you too can overcome all of this. Realize that when you have no money, when you're barely meeting ends meet to survive, guess what? You really learn that a shopping addiction, it tends to go away a lot quicker because you don't have any money to buy anything with. Just saying. That one gets fixed, not completely, because like once you come out of it and you start getting money, then you have to learn how to control that addiction and find it and fix it and all that stuff. But you know, baby steps. But here we are. We're gonna wrap this up. So why I bring all of this up is because of the fact that all of this is interconnected in the root chakra and in healing. And if you really want so badly to have a good connection with relationships and with money, then you too need to know these things and you need to work on these things to be able to create that. Because you have to create a solid space, you have to create a better environment, a better container for all of that. You got to clear out all the old from that container that you have, and you have to, make sure that you learn better habits so that you fill it up with the right stuff for that container. Okay? So, we're going to end this here. I got a couple more videos to make, and I wish you the best, and I love you, and like, share, subscribe, don't, I don't care. I'm just sharing this out there so that other people can get this information, those that need it, those that want it, and to help them, make their journey a whole lot easier, because if you've got the knowledge and you're willing to share it, makes it a whole lot easier for those that are having to go through it. So, I love you, and you got this, and email me if you have any questions or if you want my help. I'm here for you. Okay? Bye.